back to DHTV. I'm Phillips. Thank you so much for all of you who are joining us today. We have a fantastic topic to talk about today. We're going to be talking about the MSP's guide to a well-rounded marketing plan. I have two fantastic speakers to help me with that today. First off, from DNH, I have Bill DeBurr. Bill, how's it going?
I'm doing really well. Thanks, Chris.
And from CharTec, I have Brandy Rogers. Brandy, how's it going?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for having me here.
It's a pleasure to have both of you. We have so much to go through and not a lot of time to do it. So very quickly, let's get some housekeeping out of the way. During this presentation, if you have any questions that you would like to ask, there is a Q&A window in the UI. I just highlighted it for you guys. Go ahead, ask any questions that come up during the presentation. If we can get to it during the presentation, we will. If we have time after the presentation, we'll also be taking Q&A. If we don't get to your question today, we will be sure to follow up with you as well. We also do have some resources available to you. They are highlighted in the UI. So go ahead if you need additional information or you'd like to look into some of the resources that are available for this presentation, they are available there. But before we get started on the marketing plan, I do want to briefly talk about DNH's modern solutions offering, because it is something that I've been involved with DNH for upwards to 8 years at this point. Back when the Solutions Lab was doing a lot of the similar work that Modern Solutions is doing today. To simply put, DNH's Modern Solutions kind of breaks away from the traditional one vendor hardware only solutions. It's been something that we've been preaching through the Solutions Lab for as long as I've been here. Multi-vendor solutions, and not only multi-vendor solutions, but also solutions that go beyond just the hardware, that include software offerings, that include cloud and service offerings as well. The Modern Solutions Group here at DNH takes all of those disciplines and kind of merges them together to create one place for you to kind of go to and get assistance with any of your solutions categories. And some of our specialty categories exist in modern applications, whether it's software as a service or licensing opportunities. We have a 800 number specifically for that and an email you can see on the screen. When you talk about infrastructure, whether it's a on-prem server, hybrid cloud solutions, X as a service build-outs, things of that nature, we have specialists that are available for that as well. Modern collaboration, which is a group that I work very heavily with, which is really starting to really took off during the pandemic, because we all started working in hybrid situations. And even today, we have some exciting things that are happening even within DNH about around being able to not only work from anywhere, but be able to train people in a hybrid situation where you have people that are in the office and then you have people that are working remote, being able to train them at the same time in the same environment. And we have some exciting things to show you going into 2023 on that point. And also to wrap kind of all that around is our security offerings. Security is important, more important now than ever, especially with our workforces being spread out, not just within an office, but within a city, within a state, and in some cases all over the country, all over the world. Being able to secure all your users, make sure that your data is safe, you're secure from phishing, malware, ransomware attacks. Those are all complex issues that we've covered here, not just on DNHTV, but also within the Solutions Lab. We have a team that's specialized in that, and obviously we have contact information there as well. So any of those categories you're looking for help in, we've got people that are able to help you out with those. And how we deliver those services are through a multitude of different ways, whether it be the traditional on-prem hardware where you buy a server, you put your software on it, and you're working directly from your site, whether you're working in the cloud, whether you're taking that Exchange server, taking it off-prem and just putting it into the cloud. We have options available there. Hybrid is the thing I've been a proponent of for the past decade and a half, 2 decades. It gives you the flexibility of being on-prem and in the cloud. We have professional services to help you install if it's not something that you have the capabilities of doing or not have the reach to do. If you have clients that are in Texas, but you're in Maryland and you'd still like to service them, we have the ability to hook you up with qualified service providers in that area. Managed services as well. If you would like assistance managing aspects of your customer's business, or you're just looking for new managed services platforms to be able to use for yourself, we can help in both of those ways. And of course, we always have our everything as a service, whether it's software, devices, what have you. We're able to take that that front end capital expenditure and make it into a recurring service expenditure to really kind of make sure that you're keeping more control over your budget. It's been something that we've been, again, preaching for years and years at the Solutions Lab. If the everything as a service, it's devices as a service, it's software as a service, it's managed services. That's all available within the D&H Cloud Marketplace. If you would like more information on that, again, reach out to our Modern Solutions team. It is a single solitary location where you can go to order your devices, order their software, put your services on there as a managed service provider, not just ours. You can put your services on there as well, make it into one quote that goes out to your customers, and then it makes it life a hell of a lot easier than just kind of trying to piecemeal all that stuff together yourself. We have a number of different solutions, or a number of different vendors that are out there within that platform. We have many more that are also available on there as well. If you have any additional questions you'd like to ask about Modern Solutions, email us at modernsolutions@dnh.com or head on over to dnh.com/modern solutions. But with that, Bill, I wanted to also kind of kick things over to you because you have something very exciting to talk about and kind of announce to a lot of our resellers that are on the call, right?
Yeah, I do. Thank you so much, Chris. I know that Brandy and Chris have a jam-packed presentation, so I'll try to keep this as brief as possible. But D&H has announced softly a new marketing offering called Tech Drive Creative Studios. So if you came to Thread in Hershey, you may have seen the booth. We were the ones giving away the candy there. We had a bunch of great chats with some of our D&H partners already. And if you stay tuned to the D&H channels, you're going to hear a lot more about this in the next month. But for the past decade or so, D&H has kind of been helping both partners and vendors behind the scene with marketing requests. You know, we've had a full-fledged marketing department. We create a lot of great content like these webcasts and some sales kits that you can find on our website. And we've had partners reach out from time to time and say, hey, would you mind helping us with this? And so we always were willing to help out where we could. And we recently took a look at the partners we've helped, and we've, looking at Built for Growth as an initiative, we said, these partners are growing through the help of our marketing services. What can we do to make it a full-fledged offering to provide more of, the one-stop shop and more of the service that hopefully you guys love about D&H. So we're launching Tech Drive Creative Studios, and, you're going to hear a lot from Brandy about Chartex offerings today, and they have a fantastic program put together. And if you can't find what you're looking for from them, which is robust, try to keep in mind that D&H through Tech Drive now offers an absolute ton of marketing services as well, whether it's digital, rebranding, we've done product packaging, website builds, logos, you name it, and we've been helping partners with it, and we really look forward to potentially partnering with you. So I will have to actually jump off this call very shortly, but if you have any questions or are interested, Chris will pass along that information or any questions you may have to myself, and we'll get them in front of the team at Tech Drive. But really appreciate the minute I had to talk to you there, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the presentation.
Bill, thank you so much for your time. I know you had limited time today. And again, if you guys have any questions about Tech Drive Creative Studios, reach out in the Q&A, or we'll have an email you can reach out to at the end of the presentation. Brandy, how you doing after all that information?
Woo. Taking it all in, Chris. Taking it all in.
I said like 5 minutes before this broadcast starts, the first 10 minutes are gonna be a rush, and we've and I did not lie there. But now we're kind of on to the main event here, because I'm excited to learn more about CharTec and what CharTec brings to D&H and our resellers. So without further ado, Brandy, go ahead.
Hey, thanks everyone for being here, and thank you again, Chris and DH, for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. One of the biggest, most hot topics right now that's happening in the industry with MSPs and VARs is marketing, and having those resources for them is really important. So it's really great that you're jumping on that and giving those resources to them, which is one of the things that we do as well. And I wanted to go over today the exact marketing plan that we do for our own MSP, ARC Technology, and for our own MSP clients who decide to come on board with us. So I'm going to be going over the entire plan that we do, and it's going to be fast just because of the time constraint of it. But just know that you can ask questions here, or you can ask questions to me and along the way or in the future with my email, brandy@chartec.net. So I am Brandi Rogers. I am the marketing director for CharTec and ARC Technology. I have been in marketing and sales for quite a few years. And prior to CharTec and ARC Technology, I have done sales and marketing for my own company and also for my nonprofit organization, which is a dog rescue. So knowing marketing in different areas from B2C, B2B, and then asking for money for nothing in return, that gives me a various experience when it comes to marketing in general. So marketing.
I have so many questions about dog rescues now. That's all people care about at this point now.
I know it's insane, but I've been doing it for a lot of years. So
I want my corgi in here now. Where's my dog? I miss him.
Mine are hiding. I have to hide for now.
Yeah.
So marketing for as an MSP is hard as it is, or marketing B2B is hard, but marketing for a certain niche is even more difficult. So I'm going to go over this plan with you, and you're going to have lots of questions. Don't feel overwhelmed. Just know that you can reach out to us anytime, and we'll help you through it. So the plan here, we're going to go over the guide of what we do exactly. So we're going to talk about your marketing list. We're going to talk about what social media optimization is, what search engine optimization is, and going into social media marketing, email marketing, content marketing, ads, and then reporting and conversion optimization. There's a lot of steps to this guide, and this is exactly everything that we do with our own marketing plan. Okay. So going on to the next slide here, the benefits of digital marketing is having a strong digital presence that's going to help you in multiple ways. It's going to allow you to make it easier for your clients to convert, and it's going to allow you to help them convert faster. And of course, it's going to kickstart the word of mouth and social sharing with them. So that's also another way to get other people to convert for you. And it's going to, in the whole rounded plan of things, it's going to shorten the buyer's journey. So all of these, being able to touch on all of these different avenues in digital marketing is going to bring them in faster versus just focusing on one channel. Which is either one of the steps of the guide I noted previously. If you're just focusing on one of those, then it's going to make your buyer's journey even longer. So having this well-rounded plan shortens that journey. So let's talk about your list. A lot of the challenges that most MSPs have and most VARs have are not having an actual list to market to. You have to either buy a list or work on your list organically. And as you all know, that working on your list organically means you're going out there and you're scouring the pavement, you're going out from location to location, trying to get leads and doing networking events, lunch and learns, and so on. It's a lot of work, but very well worth it to grow your list organically. That's one of the things that we assist in doing through this program is by obtaining opt-ins, which is really important. Additionally, we also look into getting a non-organic list, which is to jumpstart your email campaigns and your content campaigns. There are some downsides to some of this, which is you're not knowing exactly who is going to be opting in for this, and your open and your click-through rates are going to be lower in the beginning versus your organic list, but it does grow and it does get higher. So building those organic lists and then working towards a non-organic list is something we do unanimously, together.
Awesome. Just so the people that are watching know, we are pushing out some poll questions during this presentation. Go ahead and take a second to answer those poll questions as they come up. Again, your feedback will kind of help lead the conversation, especially as we kind of get to the end in the Q&A. If there's any additional time we have, there's certainly things we can react upon your requests on the poll questions. But go ahead, Brandy.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. Those are really important. It helps us make what we do better as well.
Yep.
Social media optimization. So we utilize 3 platforms. There's a ton of social media platforms out there, as you all know. And so when it comes to B2B and service industry and going a step further into the MSP and VAR IT solutions industry, we have seen a number of conversions, a higher number of conversions with these specific platforms. So utilizing Google My Business and LinkedIn and Facebook is what we do on an ongoing basis. But it's not just about utilizing them, it's about optimizing them as well. So here are some tips we're going to go through on optimizing these platforms. If you're going to go ahead and try to do this on your own, here's what we suggest you do, and here's what we do on our end as well. So if you don't have a Google My Business profile or a Google Business profile yet, you need to go and claim one. It is very, very important. The numbers on the conversions for Google Business is very, very high. The amount of visitors that visit your website converting from Google Business is about 97%. So if you don't have one of those yet, you need to go get one. When you're optimizing your Google Business profile, make sure you're completing all of the sections. And as you're completing those sections and typing about your company in your description, make sure that you are entering in those keywords that you want to be searched for. So if you don't include those keywords that you want your company to pop up for when people are searching into your company description, then your Google Business profile is not completely optimized. During this time, obtaining reviews is only going to increase traffic to your Google Business profile. Google really likes that. The algorithm likes that. So obtaining reviews in there and responding to those reviews are very, very important. If you don't respond to reviews, this is not going to allow people to help make a decision on calling you. I recently had a story for you. I recently had someone who apparently filled out a contact us form, but the contact us form failed to get through the automation, and everything's automated these days, and it just got lost in the dark somehow. And so he decided to go on, and he or she, I'm not sure, they decided to go on and give us a 1-star Google review. And so sometimes some people would probably be intimidated to respond to something like that. But instead I went on there and I explained the situation on how I couldn't find it, but what could we do to help you change your mind on giving us a 1-star? And so whatever I said worked, and the review got deleted altogether. So it just explains that I'm explaining the importance of responding to both positive and negative reviews. It will help the buyer's decision. Additionally, posting images and posting in general on Google Business is just as important as posting on your Facebook and LinkedIn page. A lot of people don't know that. They think that the Google Business profile is just there just to show anybody who's visited, but really you should be utilizing that as a social media platform.
For a real world context, Google Business. So if you were to look up your business into Google and it pulls up all the information, if you have that Google Business account, you're able to fill out that information and curate it. Correct? That's what that that means for that.
If you haven't claimed it yet, go and claim it, and then once you do, it's going to have you create a Gmail account to do that. And then you're able to download the app and then also make the edits online as well. And so you'll be able to start actually posting to it and changing the content and making sure your sections of like your phone number and your address and all of that are inputted
your hours
correctly.
And all that stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's very. I as a user use that religiously when I'm looking for a business, mostly for hours. Like, are you open right now? I need to go get something. And
Yeah.
the number of businesses that I can claim or I can tell have not claimed their business because the information is not there, is not factual, is out of date, is kind of shocking. So
Right. And
I
what
can
did they do?
attest,
They
right?
lost to somebody, right? They
Yeah,
lost to
because
a
I
client.
moved on to something else. I was like, okay,
Right.
well, this place isn't open. Let me go find somewhere that is. So I can just speak
Exactly.
as a user how powerful getting that information in there is.
Well, even for me as a consumer, I am looking at reviews as well, you know, and I'm looking at what people are saying about them, and so I am looking at their content, and that's important to me as seeing how consistent this outfit is.
Okay, excellent. Next slide.
So again, when we go into talking about images and posting, images are important because Google's algorithm will detect those images and tie them back to your location. And so it's important that when you are doing that, you're posting images. The best images to post that Google really likes are more organic images, like images of your business, images of inside your business, images of your company culture. And it's okay to post generic, images from like Shutterstock or whatever, but as long as it's tied to something relevant to your website. So if you're tying it to a blog, that's okay. If you're tying it to one of your services, that's okay. But don't just post, you don't want to post anything that should be posted more for like Facebook or LinkedIn, like a funny or, you don't want to do anything like that. You want to do things that are going to drive traffic back to your website.
Mm-hmm.
And so going into that, you want to make sure that you're posting on at least twice a week on Google Business. So we post 3 times a week on our plan. But aside from that, like on my own time, because I manage the social media pages for both CharTec and Art Technology, I am constantly posting to Google Business, LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm sharing the post to the stories, which is something we tell our clients to do. Like every time we post, you should be sharing as a story, or you should be reposting it over here, because there's only so much we can do. With that being said, posting for everybody, it gets challenging to do all of those. So we ask our clients to help with the engagement part of it. So what to post? What's really cool about Google Business is they have an event section, they have a services section, they have just to put something out there or just to put an image or a video. And so every time you have a lunch and learn or a webinar of some sort, I always add it to the event section of Google Business. Now, what's really cool about Google Business, they have an FAQ section. What is kind of tricky about FAQ is that either you have 2 options. You wait for somebody to ask a question on there and then you answer it, or you can kind of cheat the system a little bit and log in as a different Gmail user and then start posting questions that you want your audience to know. And then you can go back in as, so DNH, and then start answering those questions. And that becomes an FAQ section, which is really great for giving information out there to people who are probably searching for it without them having to really, really look around for it. Mm-hmm. And keywords are always really important. So those keywords are always going to go back into people's search engines. So that's Google Business, and what, just some tips about why it's important to use Google Business. So Facebook. A lot of people don't think that Facebook is great for business right now. They think it's probably just a social platform, and it's moved away from social in a lot of ways. So if you've noticed, you're on Facebook and you're seeing a lot of content when it comes to businesses, is because people are utilizing Facebook for a lot of ads. Now, we utilize Facebook in the way of creating brand awareness. We create video awareness campaigns, and we have them ongoing with certain ads, and then we're making sure that we're optimizing those ads and continuously retargeting the people who have clicked on our link or have gone to our website but didn't convert. So that's one cool thing about Facebook, is it does have a really great retargeting tool. Just like Google Business, you want to make sure you're creating your business account, and you're creating it through business.facebook.com because it gives you so much more access to different tools to use, and more scheduling, and being able to see more insights. So right now, a lot of people may have their business page connected to their personal page, and then they go up to the top right-hand corner and then they click the drop down and to see, well, because we also manage so many Facebook pages, we have the business.facebook account where we can actually just stay in that platform and hop back and forth to business and their ads, seeing everything all up front at a glance. So if you have multiple people managing your business, your Facebook page, then that is something that you should have, because it's very easy to remove them and add them if they need it, and actually decide on what kind of rights they get to what kind of content they could be changing and so on. So I always recommend getting a business.facebook account. Choosing your business template is important as well. So not just choosing a generic one, you have to go in and actually see if you can find a services template, which is typically what we choose for this industry. And then again, optimizing your description with keywords, just like Google Business. Making sure your profile and cover image match your branding and your colors are consistent, and make sure they're not pixelated. So you have to make sure you're sizing them properly, because at times when you're on the phone and you see someone's profile, a little icon, and it's real blurry, it's because it's not sized properly, or it's like really zoomed in on their face or one part of their face or their icon, and their icon is cut out. So that's something that we also do, is making sure that we rebuild or redesign their cover images and profiles. And then having the correct call to action and custom URL is really important when it comes to building your Facebook page. So if you're not one to be answering the phone all the time and it's all automated, I wouldn't suggest your call to action being a call us. If you want them to go to your website, then it says visit our website now, or make sure you're using the correct call to action for what your resources are.
So back in October of last year, I believe it was October of last year, Facebook had like a 6-hour outage, and I believe I remember reading that it costs businesses for that 6 hours an estimated $80 million. So if Facebook can go down for 6 hours and cost businesses an estimated $80 million, that only speaks to the amount of the hold that Facebook has in business, and the fact that it can't be ignored, like you said at the top.
Absolutely, it is a very it's a very good platform to create the conversions to drive them to your website. So we'll talk about that too, and how it's important, how a session in AdSense is really important when it comes to everything that you're doing on these platforms. So for LinkedIn optimization, you'll see our profile picture and banner. We change our banners every quarter. And so that's, just putting out different content and making sure that it's up to date on what's going on in the industry. We're making sure that we're optimizing the About Us section, which is using all of the keywords that are necessary to drive traffic to your page, making sure the details are entered correctly, just like Google Business. All of this is all the same. And then again, creating some showcase pages. So if you want to showcase a specific service that you do that you're really good at, then create a showcase page and start posting only about that service within that showcase page. That's really great for the Google's algorithm, because Google does, when people are searching for that type of service, they will drive it to your LinkedIn showcase page as well. And then your call to action and custom URL should be taken care of in the way that your custom URL does have your business name, and your call to action, you're using the correct one that you need to use for your business.
Excellent.
So now that we've talked about social media optimization, let's talk about search engine optimization. It's totally two different things, but a lot of it sounds very similar. A lot of the things you do are very similar. So with SEO technical, I always explain it as your house to what you're constructing, right? You have your walls, your ceiling, your floor, your doors. That is the same thing as your website. Okay, you have the technical framework within your website. And if that technical framework with your website is not fully optimized for Google standards, Google's not going to send traffic to you. So if you have too much, if you don't have your CSS corrected and your licenses up to date, all of that stuff is going to affect your health of your site. And so we do site audit, health reports, and we're continuously monitoring the website to make sure there's no errors and nothing's breaking, and it's not breaking any of Google's rules. And so that's on a continuous basis that we do that. And so additionally, you have to think about on-page SEO, which is having the keywords and all of the copy that's inside of your landing pages and making sure those keywords are matching your meta tags and making sure those meta tags are matching your alt tags to your images and so on. So it can get very intense. And if you don't have that in place, then Google is not going to want to drive traffic to your website. It's going to pick the next website that has the better on-page SEO. And the other thing that we do is build citation campaigns. So a citation is the same thing as a listing. A Google Business Profile is a listing, a Facebook's a listing, a Yelp is a listing. So we do a campaign of about 25 listings to really get you on the search engines, right? So the more listings you have, the better that you're probably going to get found. And we utilize Google Tag Manager to install all of these site tracking codes and pixels that all of these platforms want you to use, right? Next thing you know, if you don't have Google Tag Manager and you're installing all of these pixels and site tracking codes onto your website, it's going to start slowing your website down. And then you're going to be like, well, I don't want to use this platform anymore, but how could I find this site tracking code? And it becomes very confusing. And so what we do is we create a Google Tag Manager, and then we start entering these pixels into containers. And all we need to do is just put in that Google Tag Manager tag onto the website, and that's it. We never have to do any more pixels or site tracking codes onto your website because it slows your website down the more you add. And so this is just a brief understanding of what your platforms that you're utilizing that's out there, and understanding what kind of what the sizes of your images you should be using and what exactly they're being used for. So again, I always say, if you're going to use a social media platform, use the one where your audience is at, and use the one that you know how to use as well. You have to work within your resources, right? A lot of people go out there and they're like, I'm going to go in and create every single account. Well, that doesn't really help you if you're not going to post consistently to that account. So it doesn't make any sense. You want to make sure you're using the one that your audience is on and the one that you're going to be using consistently. Don't overwhelm yourself.
It can get very overwhelming real quick. Like we just at D&H, I can tell you, it can get overwhelming real quick. So that's very sound advice, to not spread yourself out too thin.
Yeah, 100%. So here's some facts about Facebook. 79% of the US internet users are on Facebook, and 6 out of the 10 Americans stay updated on news through social media, and while 35% of them have used social media to look for or research for a job. So this is important as well when you are also trying to hire someone, they are going to go to your Facebook page and they're going to check you out and see what you're doing. And then it works the same way as when it comes to someone who's just wanting to use your services. And this industry specifically too, because it's such, it's a pricey service, right? To some people in their head, it may be pricey. They're going to want to do their due diligence, and they're going to be searching around for you and seeing what you're doing, what you're putting out there, how consistent you are. And the more educational information you're putting out there, and the more consistent you're staying with your brand identity, that's going to show them some type of, they're going to feel confident to wanting to pursue you and to see what kind of services you're willing to offer. And so let's talk about the social media marketing. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly, just because this part of it can be an entire webinar in itself. And so what I want to say is, on your social media marketing, if you're going to decide to go that route, make sure that you've created a social media design kit. And this is all what we do internally, is we make sure that all of your banners for the platforms are consistent with your branding across the board. We make sure that all of the posts that we post for you are consistent with your colors and your branding, your logo, your font. Again, if you do this, it's going to create your brand awareness, which creates credibility, gives credibility, and it makes them feel confident that they want to pursue you. And to not overwhelm yourself, create a calendar so that you can start posting on a consistent basis. Because if you don't have a plan, you're not going to post. So we have a calendar that we build on a quarterly basis that our clients get to see, and they get to see exactly what we're going to post, when we're going to post. And we do this a 3 months in advance. And we have that way we have the ability to create the content in the future, and we have more to create, and we're not feeling so, oh gosh, I got to hurry up and create a post today. What am I going to do? And that's kind of like how a lot of people post. They post on the fly. And so you want to have a plan of when you post, I'm this quarter, I am marketing my ebook. I want people to get to my ebook so that they can get to this service, so they can get to this part, and then they can get to a consult. So you got to have a plan when it comes to everything that you're going to do. You don't want to just post on the fly and not have anywhere for them to go.
Excellent.
So we can move on, because that's a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It's a big one. So again, with social media marketing, it will increase the engagement with your platforms. That does take two. So you don't want them to you don't want to rely on anyone to just go to your page and think that they're going to engage with you. You have to also go and engage with your clients. Make sure that you're starting conversations with people on the post. So if you want to start creating some engagement to get that post onto other people's feeds, you need to tag people and start creating conversations based on questions. Hey, so-and-so, what do you think about this? Is this what you do for yourself? Or, just to get people talking on that specific post. It's going to help boost your traffic to your page, and then it's going to build awareness and credibility. And it's a great way to build and retarget your list, to grow your retargeting list, is by creating engagement. I see you guys do that a lot.
Yes.
on your social posts.
LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. I see my face on there all the time. So.
Yeah, and you got to tag each other back and forth, and it works both ways.
Yep.
So the type of email marketing that you can do within your business, we do some of these, not everything, but I wanted to really give you guys an idea, a really good picture of what you can implement within your own business. Okay, we do some of it, not all of it, because there's quite a bit in here that you could utilize. And so the 3 top email marketing that you can take advantage is the transactional, relational, and promotional. And then in the next slides, we'll explain what exactly is a transactional email, which are the most important to MSP. So for me, I feel like these would be the most important for you in the way of transactional. So it's the order confirmations, the purchase receipts, the shipping invoices, if they're creating an account with you of some sort, any type of return confirmation. So these are transactional, your support tickets, your password reminders to change their passwords, and the unsubscribes, right? Mm-hmm. So these are things that you can implement within your own automations and CRM it creates credibility, right? To stay in touch in any way, shape, or form with your clients. It's only going to keep them there. That's the retention part of it. And so going into the relational emails, you have the new subscriber welcome. So this is the part of what we do, the gated content delivery. So when they've downloaded a form, then we have them go through another automation about, hi, you've downloaded this, and then you wait 5 days. Say, hey, what did you think about this? So these are all like touches, right? These are all really important. So your newsletters and your blogs, your webinar and event confirmations, surveys, social updates, contest announcements, referral requests. All of these are relational emails, and we utilize a lot of these within our own plan as well. And then you have your promotional content, right? So you don't want to throw out everything of just one. You want to have a variety, because then people get bored. So you want to do some promotional content in the way that if you brought on a new service and it's included in their plan, and you want to let them know what they can take advantage of. You have a webinar that's coming up, and a lunch and learn that's coming up. Any demos that you need to do, or you want to maybe convert those clients who are paying you on a break-fix basis, and they're paying you on an hour, and you want to get them converted into agreements. Well, those are your upgrade offers. Those are the offers that you're saying, hey, we have a new plan where we can replenish and refresh your entire computers and your laptops and your printers and so on with just with one low monthly fee. And so those are the ways that you can get people to convert from break-fix to an MSP as well, with these promotional emails.
I'm gonna take off my technical hat and put my marketing hat on for a second, because this is something that even comes to my mind as we kind of work through our business here, is how much you talked about these three types of communications, but at what point do you start to worry that you're over communicating and you're maybe oversaturating to the point where the people that are receiving these emails are disengaging because they're just getting too many of them? How do you gauge that?
Well, we personally send out one email and one blog a week, and then that's just specific to the blogs and the content. So the way that we structure our campaigns is we have one topic for the quarter, one main topic, and then we reduce it down to 3 subtopics of that topic, and then we reduce it down to 4 subtopics of those topics, right? So we keep the information very relevant to the entire quarter, and then we switch it up for the next quarter. Well, when it comes to saturating it, I mean, we still send those emails out, but if there's an event that we have a lunch and learn, we include it in that email. And we say, hey, we have a lunch and learn coming up. So we're not overdoing it for them. But in regards to just the other touches, those can become quick automations on if they did download a resource specific to a certain topic. Then it's just a matter of reaching out to them as a personal basis and saying, hey, what did you think about this? We have a webinar that's coming up about this topic. Would you like to attend? And so that doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily too much, because it's more, the email is built more on a personal level versus, a lot of information that's going out once a week. And if they're clients, they're going to want to hear from you.
Yeah. The what I'm hearing from that is, and it's something that we practice as well. Have a plan. Don't just be like, okay, I want to send out a new promotional email today, and then tomorrow I'm gonna let's talk about a new service release tomorrow. Have a plan in place, a week out, a month out, a quarter out, so you know what you're going to be talking about, and you can structure your emails accordingly.
Yeah, and just think about their journey. Their journey is really important. So where do you want them to go? Where do you want them to go next? Never not have them go anywhere or nowhere. That's one thing, is you always want them to go somewhere. So think about that as well. So, and then that comes into the content marketing of things. So that ties into it. So with content marketing, you're creating awareness, which then leads to evaluation of your business, which then leads to conversion. And so all of these touches that you think aren't doing anything, which just so you know, it does take about 3 to 6 months of consistent marketing to get them to even become aware, and then to get you to evaluate you as a service provider and then convert. So consistency is key, right? That's really important. And they can probably reach out to you too with D&H on upgrading, doing refreshes. And I'm sure you guys have some marketing content that you can help them along the way with, on getting them to convert into and refreshing all of their equipment and getting them into converting into an MSP.
Absolutely.
Through your own platform.
Absolutely.
Utilize that, you guys. I don't try to reinvent the wheel. We're giving you so much information. Go in and develop a plan with what we can give you. So with content marketing, as you all know, as mentioned before, it's intent based. So remember, you have to have a plan. What is the intent? What is the goal you're trying to accomplish? Make sure that they have another step after that goal. Decide on what vehicle that you're going to use, whether it's going to be in the way of an image, text, a video, and decide what channel you're going to put it on. Is it going to be on your website? Is it going to be as a Google ad? Is it going to be on Facebook? And then make sure that you're creating this content based on your avatar. Your avatar is your client, your ideal client, your primo clients, the one who pays you on time and doesn't submit tickets. It's not bugging you all the time.
Wait, where does that person exist? Wait, I changed my mind. Those are all the people that are on this call with us today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so you got to think about who's that one person or 2 people or 3, however many you got, that you love so much.
Oh, we have over 100 people on this call that I love so dearly.
There you go. So that's your avatar. So it's really important to keep your content avatar based too. So here's the content lifecycle. You got your top of the funnel people or top of the funnel items that you're giving out, and you got your middle of the funnel and your bottom of the funnel. And so your bottom of the funnel is the ones that are like super, super hot. Like they're super interested. They've watched your demo. They are interested in a story that you put out there and like, hey, I want to hear more. They've attended a webinar. You know, they are very interested in what you're putting out there. And then you've got your top of the funnel stuff, which is the stuff that's going to take them a little longer to convert. Oh, they read your blog. Okay, they liked your social media post. Oh, they downloaded an infographic. Doesn't mean they're really, really interested yet. So it's not like they download an infographic and you call them and say, hey, you ready to buy? You don't do that. You gotta warm up to them.
Yeah.
And with our program, we have our sales trainers who actually meet with our clients once a month to teach them how to make sure that they're not overstepping boundaries, right? That they're touching on them on a proper basis. So this is just examples of what the top of the middle of the funnel marketing funnels look like. So then we got digital ads, right? Digital ads can be very, very confusing. And if you don't understand them, you're going to spend a lot of money for nothing. And so one of the things that we focus on is we do Google ads based on audiences. And so we make sure that we know what sources we're going to use. So we utilize Facebook for the video Facebook awareness campaign, and we utilize Google for the paid ads. What's really neat though is that if you have, what's really neat about the paid ads is that you can turn on and off the traffic as much as you need to, but with your organic traffic, it's sort of sporadic, right? So there's no real consistency when it comes to your organic traffic. So if, let's just say you've become so overwhelmed and you got too much business, which, believe it or not, has happened with conversations I've had. They're like, Brandy, we got to turn the marketing down a little bit. I'm like, no, hire someone new.
Yeah, hire more people.
Hire more people. And it boggles my mind when I hear something like that. But so it does happen where, you know, we just got to tune down the ads a little bit and put less money and put more money into it and so on. So those are really important to understand the channels, the various channels. We've done LinkedIn ads. I personally don't suggest them just because they are very expensive and I don't see very great conversions out of them. Maybe I just don't know how to use them, but I don't mess with them. I've lost too much money on LinkedIn with the ads, but we do well with Google and Facebook, so I'll stick to what I'm good at.
It's a good rule of thumb in general, just sticking to what is working for you. If you find something that's working, just keep sticking to it.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the things the elements that you got to remember about your ads and keeping them high performing is make sure that you understand what kind of offer you're putting out there. So what is your offer, which it could be a way of the ebook or a webinar or whatever that you're going to promote. You're trying to get them into that bottom of the funnel. Then you understand you got to put some really great eye-catching copy. People's attention spans are very short, so your copy has got to be on point. Your creative, which is your images or your video, that's got to be eye-catching as well, you know, and staying consistent to your brand. And then making sure that they're going somewhere that is relevant to the information you're putting out. So don't offer an ebook and then send them somewhere where it doesn't even talk about the ebook, right? So you got to make sure you're keeping them going to where they know, they understand they're in familiar territory and not unfamiliar territory. And then it's important to target your audience. It's important to understand who your audience is, though.
Yep.
So we'll go through this really quick. You got your assets and channels, so you make sure that you have your intent, your content, your asset, which is what they're going to get, the channel that you're going to be sending this on, making sure you're optimizing, and then of course ascension, which is always having them go to another step. Don't have them stop. You want to always give them an option to keep moving. So here's an example of that. We decided our keyword was going to be cybersecurity. Our intent, which is whatever they're going to be typing into Google, is cybersecurity for my business. The content was going to be my business needs. The context, is going to be my business needs cybersecurity protection. The asset was going to be a checklist on cybersecurity for the business. The channel we used was Google. The optimization was using the intent-based keyword in the title and description, right? And then the accession was going to be a call to action button, to a see more, to a contact us.
Wow, that's really good. Really nice way to lay that out and kind of visualize that ascension. That's really useful there.
It's hard to visualize it when I talk about it. You're like, what does that mean? So we gotta show you, like, okay, here's a perfect example, and then just use this example for any other goal that you have.
We do have about 10 minutes left. I will say that we will have a little bit of time to answer some questions at the end. So if anyone has some questions, we do have a couple of them queued up. But I went ahead and highlighted the ask a question. Ask your questions now. We'll queue them up and we'll get those answered before the end of the broadcast.
All right, so we're almost here. So reporting, right? We got to know what we're doing if we're doing it and it's working. So again, here's the things that we personally focus on, which is the health of your site and to making sure that it is above 80%, there's no errors and so on. We're always doing your Google Analytics reviews and seeing what kind of website visitors we're seeing, what landing pages they're landing on and where they're going after that. Again, we take a look at your Google My Business overview and taking a look at how that's operating and how many people are going onto your website, onto your Google business page. And we do the same for your LinkedIn and Facebook. On top of all of this, we also, if you go to the next slide, Chris, we also show you, and we also show you exactly what our reporting looks like. You know, we compare what our efforts are to what your top 3 competitors are doing. So we get to see what their social media efforts are compared to what we're doing. We get to see what keywords they're ranking for versus what keyword you're ranking for. We put the same keywords in there and we say, oh gosh, your competitor is ranking for this keyword and you're down here. So let's go ahead and work on that one in a little bit for the next blogs and so on. So these are what we put out there. And then of course, how to give you some ideas on how to SEO on page SEO, optimize your website.
Nice.
And then these are the metrics that matter to us. Your click-through rates, your website visits, your social awareness. Has your engagement gone up? Are your likes gone up? Are your posts, your views going up? And then of course your downloads, you know, how many people are requesting the resources, and then your form fills, who is contacting you. Okay. So now what? You guys got 4 choices. You know, I always give these 4 choices out there. You got stay doing what you're doing, and maybe it's working, maybe it's not, but that's option number 1. Option 2 is you take your internal resources and you try to implement what you just learned here. Or you could use your internal resources for internal stuff and then outsource it to a marketing company that does know your industry and know exactly what to give to you. Or you can make a choice to outsource also to a marketing agency, but make sure you are very aware of what kind of marketing they do, because you don't want to get with a marketing agency that markets for all these different industries, because they don't know what we know as far as the MSP industry. So, and again, we have our 2-day academy coming up here where we're having it at our own MSP in our training facility. And it's all going to be on, the sessions are on lead generation, how to get those leads, and then how to close those leads. And so we are offering an incentive to you as a D&H member, is that if you do join and attend our academy, we will cover your second night stay with us.
Nice. All right. That was a ton of great information, Brandy. Thank you so much.
I don't do a lot of marketing, but this is exactly what we do for us, for our MSP.
Do you have a couple minutes you want to answer? I think we have a couple questions that came in. The first one I'm going to go to is Joseph, and I feel like the answer to this question is going to be, it depends. But he asked, what is the typical budget you've seen that is successful for a marketing campaign?
Well, and you're right. It depends. What do you mean by marketing campaign? So if you're going to do marketing as a whole, like the entirety of everything, I would budget between, $2,000 and $3,000 a month. And so, but if you're going to go ahead and add ads onto that, we require a minimum of a $300 a month ad spend. But that is just the minimum. And obviously we see some better results with the more money you put in the ads, obviously, but it just depends on what you're able to do. And so if you want to just focus on content only, I would probably budget between $1,000 and $1,500 a month for content only, and no ads, and no social and all that.
I believe someone asked what your contact information is. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that slide back up there if they want to get in touch with you, Brandy. Your email is on the screen right now. Someone asked, I believe Robert asked, is the Modern Solutions and the Tech Drive stuff, and is that all available for Canada resellers as well? Yes, it is. I'll give you those contact information here in a second. I had a question because I've been staring at it all day, and I'm interested in it. What is the significance of the zebra on your guys' logo, in CharTec's logo? Because I feel like there's a story there.
There's a story there. So Alex Rogers, the CEO of CharTec, he came up with Charlie. Charlie is the name of the zebra, and that comes from Madagascar, which is standing the zebra that was a rainbow. He stood out from the herd, and so that's how he came up with the zebra, because he always stood out. He was always different from everybody else.
That's actually like, see again. It's setting out it's setting out your brand, and like he was trying to set out to do something that was different. So
one of our biggest taglines is "Stand out from the herd," which we always want you to stand out from the herd as well.
A couple of other questions came in. Daniel wanted to know, what do you recommend for small, unrepresented businesses that don't generate a large amount of revenue at this time in terms of a marketing strategy?
I would go with just content only and just start doing emails and blogs. And again, just like D&H has their campaigns where you can go on and start utilizing some of their campaigns. If you don't have the funds to hire someone to just start getting your emails and blogs out there, you can go and pull some of their content and at least schedule it out, once a week to something that's available to you. And we have something like that where we have a content only program where we just do your emails and blogs on a consistent basis for you. And we do a resource, a recorder as well. So it could be in a way of a download of a checklist or some sort of a business calculator of some sort.
Dustin asked a similar type question for small startups, so I hope that answer also answered your question as well, Dustin.
Start with content only, just emails and blogs, because it's going to create your brand awareness. It's
kind of quote unquote free. You're doing all the work, and it's just easy word of mouth stuff.
Yeah, you just go in and reshare it.
Yep. Joseph asked if he could get more information on the 2-day academy. I wanted to go ahead and put that slide back up there again if you want more information. Is that available on the LinkedIn link here?
Yeah, so if you go to chartec.net/CharTec Academy, that is where you can go and read about it and look at all of our sessions that we're going to be having, and you can register there. And just so you know that if you are a non-member to CharTec, the fee is $199, but it's refunded to you within 30 days after you arrive. Awesome. So technically it's free. So you just got to get there.
All right.
And then you can book a call with us as well at chartec.net/schedule. So if you want to go ahead and just get on the calendar to talk more marketing, feel free to use that link as well.
Awesome. Brandy, thank you so much for all the fantastic information you've provided today. I don't work in marketing, and I was interested in this. So when you get a tech head like me to take off his tech hat for a second and start to think about marketing, I think you've accomplished something.
Well, good. Thank you. For
the D&H resellers on this call, this broadcast will be available on demand. If you were there are a couple of people asking if they could get a copy of the slide deck. If there's no copy in the resources and you want to watch this again and kind of get that information again, it will be available on demand probably sometime early next week, dnh.com/DHTV. We also have some upcoming webcasts. Information on that are available at dnh.com/DHTV. If you have any additional questions after this, I'm going to throw ahead and throw Brandy's email back up there one more time. If you have any questions for Brandy, it's brandy@chartec.net. If you have any questions for our Modern Solutions group, it's Modern Solutions Specialist at dnh.com. and Modern Solution Specialist CA if you're on the Canada side at dnh.com. If you have any interest or any questions about the new Tech Drive agency, you can go ahead and email techdriveagency@dnh.com and get any of your questions answered. But with that being said, thank you guys for joining us today. Brandy, thank you so much for joining us today. It was greatly appreciated, and I hope everyone has a wonderful afternoon.
Have a great day, everyone.